It's amazing to me that some kids think that he's still alive. It's almost funny to me, because he couldn't have been quiet this long. There'd been no way in the world he could be quiet this long.
I think Tupac's alive as any one of us in the sense of, I can still feel him.
He is still alive. As far as I'm concerned, you know, we don't die, we multiply.
I think Tupac's here every day because I see the tattoo on my daughter's shoulder right there, and it's so lifelike, you know.
The 1960s were a time of turmoil and liberation. Americans were confronted with the power of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. One group to rise from this atmosphere was the Black Panthers. The group believed that the only way to achieve black liberation was to form a black militia armed with enough firepower to fight the oppressive white government. Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother, was in the forefront of the Black Panther movement.
My mother was a Black Panther, and she was really involved in the movement, you know, just black people bettering themselves and things like that.
He was a soldier from here. You seen it was the upbringing. You seen Pac, he had the fire in his eye.
You can't exempt this guy from his environment. His mother was a Panther Party operative. She was socially conscious. She guided her boy in the right direction. Huey Newton was in his 20s when he started the Panthers, who was a voracious reader. And Tupac probably wanted to replicate that. He wanted to imitate that.
Afeni Shakur, pregnant with Tupac, was arrested on conspiracy charges along with 20 other Black Panthers. Accused of plotting to blow up Manhattan landmarks, she faced up to 150 years in prison. She successfully defended herself and was acquitted of all charges. 1 month after the trial, Tupac Amaru Shakur was born.
I met him the first time at the Armory in New York City at 168th Street. Had gone over to hear Minister Louis Farrakhan speak at a rally, and Afeni was there with him. He was a tiny baby, and he was about 2 months old.
Afeni never revealed publicly who Tupac's father was. She lived briefly with Mutulu Shakur, who would become Tupac's stepfather and spiritual advisor during his younger years. Mutulu was eventually taken from Tupac.
Dr. Mutulu Shakur, political prisoner. Been locked down since 86, 87. He got 60 years on the RICO Act. He was accused allegedly of liberating the Sada Shakur, bank robberies, armored truck heists, all that.
I was a man in Tupac's life who had a commitment. I was a man in Tupac's life who probably had a commitment to the struggle more than to the family. He learned a lot from the people, not from what was said by the people. He hung around with dope fiends, he hung around with gangsters, he hung around with oppressed people, he hung around with struggling people. People were struggling for things. He listened to the meetings. He was at all the meetings. You know, he was hanging. He was a part of that struggle as a young child. In 1981, when the Depression was intensified, and him and Afeni, etc., had to go and run from the FBI, and when the FBI would go into their schools and intimidate them and try to find out where I was at, where his aunt was at, where Sada was at. Most children don't know that.
It was like I was given the responsibility before I wanted it, and so now I can't really differentiate what great responsibility is because I've had it for so long.
Fanny and Pac are a lot alike, you know what I'm saying? They're very articulate, and she's a good person to learn things from.
My mother taught me 3 things: respect, knowledge, search for knowledge. It's an eternal journey. That's like my haircut, the line. 360 degrees, find knowledge, always. And she taught me to not be quiet. To, if there's something on my mind, speak it.
Years of internal fighting and the efforts of the FBI to undermine the Panthers eventually led to the party's demise.
All the party members had a hard time right after the party was dissolved. of getting into the workforce, and especially somebody like Afeni. You know, she ended up homeless on the streets of New York, of Boston. You know, she had a hard time. She ended up on drugs.
We moved out of New York because because of my mother's choices. They figured out who she was, and she couldn't keep a job. That should be illegal. So she lost her job, and of course, we were like stranded in New York.
With the dissolve of the Black Panther Party and a search for a better life, Afeni and her family left Harlem.
We moved to Baltimore. Baltimore has the highest rate of teenage pregnancy, the highest rate of AIDS within the black community, the highest rate of teens killing teens, and the highest rate of teenage suicide, and the highest rate of blacks killing blacks in Baltimore, Maryland. And this is where we chose to live. So as soon as I got there, being the person I am, I said, no, I'm changing this. So I started a Stop the Killing campaign and Safe Sex campaign and AIDS prevention campaign and everything.
Tupac auditioned for and was accepted into the Baltimore School for the Arts. Majoring in acting, he became a model student. In Baltimore, he wrote his first rap. It was about gun control and inspired by the death of a close friend. Again, looking for a better life, Afeni packed up the family and moved to California. Tupac believed leaving that school affected him so much. He saw that as the point where he got off track.
And I came to California to escape that violence that I escaped New York for. Then I went to Baltimore, escaped Baltimore for, came to California. Come to Marin City, I've seen already deaths. I mean, this lady slashed a man's throat because he spit on a kid.
This is Door 1, Building 89. It's in Marin City in the jungle, the J-Town. This was kind of like the place we wrote a lot of the first songs. Okay.
Come and follow me with your camera. Because, first of all, he stayed in the living room. There's a sister hat, my son's room. Baby, this was Tupac's sister's room.
Yeah, this is where we used to write all the songs at. Yeah. Sexual used to be mad because we was always...
Let me tell you something. In that slide window, when his mama leave, all the girls come to the back, and he let them into the slide. Okay? So when I'm in my room, man, right here, in my bed, and something go...
I was the tiny room. Sometimes here in the living room, we'll do some writing, but you know, his mama would kick us out, send us to the back. During the early days, we were broke. We wanted to be rappers, and we got befriended by a lot of people in the street life, dope dealers, pimps, all the people that you think are the wrong type of people. I can honestly say that none of those people tried to draw us into that lifestyle. So a lot of people got behind us and helped us get there. We got caught up in the whole aspect of wanting a ball, wanting to have jewelry, wanting to have nice cars from watching them. But the revolutionary aspect of it came from Tupac's mother and the things she was teaching him. He taught a lot of us.
I feel like if you can't respect yourself, then you can't respect your race, then you can't respect another's race, then you can't respect, you know, it just has to do with respect, like my mother taught me. So what we're doing is starting the Black Panthers again in Marin City, just getting first teaching pride, and then teaching education, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
This is the stairwell in the jungles. We used to sit right here in the hallways, smoking weed and busting raps. In the garbage chute. That's where everybody used to write their raps at. Now we're gonna go up to the top. This is what I was talking about. Now when you poor, right? When you broke, right? You sitting up here and smoking and shit, and you looking at all them rich people over there. That's Tiburon. That's the most expensive place in California to live. You right there around rich people all the time. That's like teasing you in your face if you starving. That goes back to what I think the most important thing about rap music meant to the ghetto, man, to the streets, is that it's an opportunity.
If there was no money and everything depended on your moral standards and the way that you behaved and the way that you treated people, we'd be millionaires, we'd be rich. But since it's not like that, then we're stone broke. And so that's the only thing that I'm bitter about, is growing up poor because I missed out on a lot of things.
In 1989, while Tupac attended a dance function, he met Layla Steinberg. Layla was developing workshops in which young people could express themselves. They immediately connected and arranged to meet the very next day.
The very first day we met, He ended up coming from Marin City to this place with me that same day, and we did our little workshop here that night. And then from that night on, he was part of our group. He thought I was like the perfect package to get him where he needed to go. He told me what was going on at his house, and within a couple months, I realized that his mother was so addicted that his house was too dysfunctional to have a career, to keep going to school. So within a couple months, he ended up coming to stay at my house. 7465 Bridget Drive. And this is the apartment that I was living in with my husband and my children, and Pac and Ray came to stay with me here. He was the sloppiest, messiest person I've ever lived with, and dirty. He would never want to wash clothes. He'd want to, like, buy new clothes so he wouldn't have to clean up and wash stuff. At 17, he was wide-eyed and really believed that he could change the world.
I think adults should go through school again. You know, I think that rich people should live like poor people and poor people should live like rich people, and it should change every week.
Our relationship was really a relationship that we searched for knowledge, you know, we explored together. And I'll just tell you a book right now, you know, it's been around for a long time. It's called Ponder on This. The stuff we were exploring together, food for thought, alignment, the ancient mysteries, astrology, the Buddha, challenge, Christ, the impact of color, our state of consciousness, medicine, the moon, the occult teachings, Rajneesh, telepathy, the Kabbalah, Tibetan Book of the Dead. He read Roots a number of times. Taylor Chardin, The Phenomenon of Man. And as you study Tupac's lyrics, you start to know and understand how much he incorporated his reading, even his last albums. So Pac would read a book like this, you know, it's a pretty big book, and he would attack people's definitions. So what is cultural literacy, and who defines it? And is this white perspective, or is this multicultural perspective?
There should be a drug class, there should be sex education, there should be a class on scams, there should be a class on religious cults, there should be a class on police brutality, there should be a class on apartheid, there should be a class on racism in America, there should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their classes on gym.
This right here is the first hall that Tupac performed in, and it was the EC Craft Community Building. And Pac did this with Digital Underground, packed the place. I had talked to Atron and I wanted to get us a deal, and he said we had to make a video. We decided to have our own mini concert here on the grass so that we could show Atron how tight we were. And so all the kids in the building were our audience right here on the grass, and that was the stage behind the trees, and we had the Strictly Dope show. And this is where we made our tape that I sent to Atron that got Pac his deal.
Layla Steinberg called me and asked me if I was interested in meeting Tupac. And at the time, I was working with a group called Digital Underground. And I called Shock G, who's the leader of the group, and asked him if he wanted to meet Tupac. And he said he would. He was in the studio, just sent him down.
Atron and Layla sent this kid, Pac, to the studio. We were mixing down Sex Packets, our first album. Pac came in the studio strictly business. Maintained eye contact with me the whole time. I'm at the mixing board. Do you want me to rhyme now? What's up, Shock G? Shock G? What's up? I'm Tupac. You want to hear it right now? I was like, damn, this cat's intense, you know? It's like, yo, run this back and put some reverb on that track. I'm going to go in the booth with this cat. Let's go in the piano room. And he busted. It was street. It was educated. It was articulate. We came out the booth. I was like, yeah, you tight. I'm going to holler at H and I'm going to tell him. He's like, all right. In 1990, you weren't really blown away by Pac's rhymes. His rhymes were better than average. I remember one song was The Case of the Misplaced Mic. Got home from school. My mic was missing. Got on the phone, called Dizzy. I can't find my mic. Word, let's get busy. The case of the misplaced mic. The case of the misplaced. It's like hip-hop fantasy type stuff, you know? Spy looking for his mic. It was either that or political. Wasn't thugged out yet.
Layla brought Pac over from Marin to meet Digital, and right away, him and my son hit it off. You know, Pac decided that he wanted to be in the group.
Pac had told Layla or Atron that, you know, if he doesn't do something now, you know, he's gonna go to Atlanta and be in the New African Panthers or something like that. And Atron was like, well, if Pac doesn't do something now, he's gonna break out. He was like, why don't you let Pac roll? Because, you know, I want to sign him, you know, and I think he has talent. And I was like, yeah, he is kind of hot.
And that's why he wound up roadieing, dancing, background rapping.
My name is Shock G. This is the Digital Underground.
He came out. Once he came on the road, every chance he get, you know, he get on the mic. You know, after the shows, after parties, he grabbed the mic and just, you know, once people saw him, it was history.
And as we got to know him, we started working him into the rhyming situations more and more as most we could, you know. We were on our second album at the time, EP release, and Dan Aykroyd wanted us to do this movie with him, Nothing But Trouble, and do the soundtrack. And Pac was on tour with us when we got offered, and that's why Pac wound up on Same Song.
I remember once when he thought the sound man was messing up the show.
Pac took it personal and ran up on the sound man and said, yo!
He tried to beat up the sound man.
Fuck the sound up! And went to swing on him, and our manager grabbed him.
He didn't realize the sound man's friend was getting ready to hit him with something, so I had to grab him.
And we like, yo, Pac, you know, you can't beat up the sound man.
He hit that sound man, but he didn't understand it. That wasn't just our sound man. That was the sound man for the whole G Street tour.
But he's crazy.
You know how many times I fired Pac? Fuck that. You weren't supposed to sing right there. He's the singer. You're a rapper. You don't want him singing over your parts. Fuck that. I knew you was going to say that. We were losing the crowd right there. We had to do something. He wasn't singing that shit right. You wouldn't know. You're not a singer. Fuck that. You sending me home? Yeah, I'm sending you home. Fuck that. Pac's off the tour. It would be livid like that. Almost fighting. 2 hours later, knock. Yo, what's up? Let's go get some hoes. All right. You know?
You know, we just had a lot of fun back then. You know, we spent a lot of time in the buses talking, spent a lot of time running around, just having a good time. It was a good period because there wasn't, at that time, there was minimal pressure on Tupac.
Tupac's first big break came with Same Song, which he recorded with Digital Underground.
There was a day we were coming from the city. We were going back to Santa Rosa, and all of a sudden, Same Song came on KMEL, and that was the song that Pac did with Digital. And we were so excited to hear it. And I'm asking everyone, get your money out. I need $2 to get over the bridge. I didn't have any money. And everyone searched their pockets, and no one had any money. And I ended up having to write a check to get over the bridge. And the one thing that was funny is that Pac said we should all remember it would be the last time he couldn't pay $2 to get over a bridge.
So it was a real big event. It was a big event in the streets, in the hoods out here, because nobody from this area ever made it in the black community like that. And, you know, hell yeah, it was a major celebration.
My name is Shock G.
And I'm too motherfucking Pac.
Yeah, okay.
My man Humpty Hump and the whole Digital Underground posse finna come out with yet another album, even more slamming than the last. We just finna go straight underground. We finna live up to the name, Digital Underground. Tupacalypse come out with a new album, Troublesome. We finna just hit y'all like a family. We all just, you know, trying to make it.
We were like family to him. You know, we got him his first apartment. He had no credit. He couldn't drive. He had no driver's license. So we used to have to work the applications, and we would all pitch in and borrow a credit card and co-sign, and we did all the shit we had to do.
To get closer to the game, Tupac moved across the bay to Oakland.
Coming out of New York, I always learned about flavor and different shit like that. Not to diss New York, I learned a lot, but I never knew the game. I never learned the game. And when I went to Baltimore, I didn't learn the game. Nobody ever took the time to show me the game. When I got to Oakland, that's when I learned the game.
This is the land of the hustle. And you also will find that in Oakland, a lot of people do not back down from things. You know, that whole Oakland Raider blue-collar mentality is very much an identity for a lot of people in the city.
Click, clack, me like go up. You see me gives a fuck about these bitches on me nuts high.
His first solo album, Tupacalypse Now, was explosive and propelled him into the spotlight. And with this came new dangers.
I come to his house, and all the lights would be on. He's on the first floor apartment. Drapes wide open. Occasionally a window open with just a screen. I came over and I was like, Pac, for real, man, you're not getting the message. You can't leave your windows wide open with all these gold records and all your jewelry laying out on the counters and stuff. He was like, oh, I ain't worried about that. I ain't show you? Oh. Went in the closet, his first AK ever bought. He came out, because if someone come up in here, wait. Woo! You saw that? Shot the floor and the sofa all up. Damn near killed a couple of the outlaws. They were little kids just sitting on the couch getting high. Woo, you saw that? Like, it's got some shit to it. Beautiful.
When I first met him, I said, hey, this guy here, he's gonna be big, you know. I knew it instantly. It was just the power that was coming from him, you know, his voice.
I remember looking at the Billboard charts one day on the tour bus when we were looking at Pac's first album. We were like, oh, you doing good, Pac, you know? He was like in the 40s or 50s somewhere with his first album. Sons of the P was in the top 10 and had just got certified and all that. And I remember Pac storming out the room, looking at the chart, how his album went. And he just looked at me and went, if I could get a beat like Kiss You Back. Walked away. And I was like, whoa. Because usually I let him pick the tracks. He'd be like, yeah, I want this one, I want this one. But then I realized he wanted me to get involved and tell him, this is the star track. He was telling me, like, he can't pick them, just give me something hot, you know? So I made sure he got I Get Around and So Many Tears and all that next hit. Yeah. It always felt like I was in the studio putting music behind Huey Newton or Malcolm X. I knew it was important. It was honor. When Pac called, you just stopped what you were doing, took all your equipment and flew to wherever he was and went in the studio.
And Shock a hustler, and I'm a hustler, so everybody understand it. Ain't no one man gonna stay in one spot forever. That's a sucker. It ain't about milking off the next man. That's a motherfucking hoe. I'm a motherfucking pimp. I'm finna come up on my own. I'm gonna get my own sack. So I took what little bit he gave me and doubled up and doubled up and doubled up, and I've been doubling since. And I'm gonna keep on doubling till these niggas kill me, and that's that.
The real tension in Tupac was about remaining true to the people who produced him, and that was where he got this keeping it real. He wanted to be the real nigga, and the real nigga was always in conflict with the other sides of his personality.
And all this risk that niggas trying to make me go through, I'm gonna make them feel the fire like I got to feel the fire. And that's real, and anybody can't understand that, they don't understand the black thing. It's gonna stay black. I'm not finna act white just cause y'all want me to act white. I'm gonna buy Benz cause that's what niggas do. Right. You understand me? I'm gonna smoke weed cause that's what niggas do. I'm gonna pack a gat cause that's what niggas do. You understand me? I'm gonna get drunk cause that's what niggas do. You understand me? I'm not gonna change just cause motherfuckers got money.
I mean, I knew it was all part of one person. It was all Pac, but he had two sides, the yin and yang, just like everybody. Because everybody got a good side, everybody got a bad side. Just Pac's was amped up a little bit more, you know what I'm saying?
I grew up Panther-wise, you know what I'm saying? And nowadays, a nigga like, fuck that. You gotta survive. You know, I'm screaming black like the next man, but when the first shot lick off, you know, it's all good.
Tupac was constantly defining and refining his political and philosophical views, always being challenged by the white ruling class. It got to the point where Tupac felt American laws would not protect him.
We always had to take the route that was nonviolent, peaceful, logical, and more saintlier than every other race. You know, we could never take the stance, which was our true stance, to be straight soldiers, straight warriors, until hip-hop came. When hardcore hip-hop came, it was all right for a nigga to say, fuck y'all, you know, we gonna do what the fuck we want, you know, bang, bang, you know, it was cool for a nigga to do that.
Thug life became the ruling philosophy. How could he unify and service the people while protecting their culture and way of life, which was not being represented by any policymakers in Washington?
That's what I like about Tupac. He said he was for the thugs. He didn't just mean people who beating women up and people who stealing. He meant a thug, T-H-U-G-L-I-F-E, the hate you gave little infants, F's everyone. He meant by nigga, N-I-G-G-A, never ignorant getting goals accomplished.
Thug life is just the life of the streets and what, quote unquote, America think of the minorities. America was built to murder. You know, you can ask the Indians that, so we don't even need to talk about what he created. You know, he ain't killed nobody, so he couldn't have did nothing. There ain't number words.
Yes, I am gonna say that I'm a thug. That's because I came from the gutter and I'm still here. I'm not saying I'm a thug because I want to rob you and rape people and things. I'm a businessman. I mean, you know I'm a businessman because you find me at my places of business.
He felt that there was no greater pain in this country at this time than the pain of Black America. It wasn't a manufactured image. When Pac became Thug Life, the embodiment of Thug Life, when he shot those cops, there was nothing manufactured. There was his diving into who he felt he was a voice for.
This is 10 millimeter, but I'm loading it with 40 millimeter bullets because it'll work. Watch. And I feel as though everything I rap about, shit, anybody can check my card on it. And I got to be able to show and prove whenever somebody want to pull my card on it.
He said he didn't have a record until he had a record deal. I mean, Tupac felt that he had to live the life he sang about in his song. That's great when it's applied to gospel music, terrible when it's applied to gangster rap.
His whole thing with thug life and everything else, he knew that all of us, as far as the urban communities, everything was concerned, we was trapped and we was catened off. You know what I mean? So we couldn't be successful. So he was going to get the whole Thug Nation and turn it around and make it that movement.
Feel any remorse for the cops that got killed?
Wait, I'm feeling my remorse. Wait, chill.
Can you fart?
No. I mean, I would if I could, but I can't. Because it wasn't no remorse for Latasha. It wasn't no remorse for Yusef Hawkins. And there wasn't no remorse when the motherfuckers kicked my ass. So they can all motherfucking die till they respect me as a motherfucking man. And every black man out there, they can all motherfucking die. And that's real. Till they do, more motherfuckers gonna die. As long as they got bullets, it's gonna be some justice around this motherfucker.
Motherfuckers is scared to be theyself, dog. You know, and he was like, man, I'm myself, good or bad. What? Deal with it, motherfucker. I'm putting it right in your face. America, this is what you made me. Now deal with me.
I feel as though the ghetto is the ghetto, you know, and I don't think like it ain't their ghetto I can't go to and kick it and come up in. I don't care if colors or not. And I didn't always think that, so I'm not being cocky. I was scared of LA to whereas I didn't know nothing about the gang thing. That's the only thing I was scared of, just ignorance, not knowing where not to go. But shit, I done been out here long enough, they can smoke me. I really don't care, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? Watts, this is Compton, you know what I'm saying? There's no place that I won't go, and I feel as though if you got love and you putting out real shit, you can do that. If you kicking that shit from your heart, you can go wherever your heart wants you to go.
You damn right we gonna represent the hood. We about the ghetto. They're trying to come up. That's why they celebrating thug life, because thug life is what they know. And the thug spoke to them more than some preacher might have.
I done tried to tell y'all since I got out here, it's all about that thug life. And they think thug life is a rap group. No. Thug life is just some old deep shit that you can't sink your feet in. It's Richie Rich. It's my nigga Snoop Dogg. It's my nigga the Governor. It's my nigga Warren G. Everybody's on this motherfucker. On this Thug Life album, we got my nigga Spice One, Psych, Mac 10, Rated R. I got niggas from all over the hood, from all over the rap industry, and they all good. And it's all on this motherfucker because it's all about that thug life. It's all about niggas coming together and making papers of what we can do best. And that's game these motherfuckers. And that's straight check these white motherfuckers and put our motherfucking bid down. We been doing it. We do it every motherfucking day. The game is motherfucking free. But shit, we need to start making some money off of it. So, you know, rifle bullets go through vests. By themselves, this can go through a vest, right? So by me having a hollow point on it, you know, a hollow point will make it expand. It'll go through the vest and then expand. Yeah. You know, that's for niggas that be wearing vests like me. Now, I call this one for the public. If they ever come get me for some bullshit and I don't want to go to jail, which I don't, I got this phobia. I ain't going to jail. Not unless I want to. Not unless I did something, I'll go. But I ain't finna go for nothing, you know what I'm saying? So if they come for me, I'm putting a 90 rounder in. Come here, Chief Gates.
On the underground. I'm after your ass, nigga.
Every time there were police, Pac would always say, get the video cameras, do you have the video cameras? He would want to ride around the Bay, Oakland, wherever, with video cameras, because he always wanted to challenge the police, because he always felt he was being picked on.
Are you getting that search?
There's another police approaching.
We now have 4 cars.
Sorry, people, they have OJ in the back.
We now have 4 cars at the scene, ladies and gentlemen, for this one stop. We have 4 cars.
We heard a knock on the door, and I was like, oh, God, the cops are here again. So I go, and I open the door. I was like, yes, officer. He said, we've had more complaints. The music is too loud. And so I was like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't want any problems. And here comes Pac over my shoulder, really sarcastic. Oh, what's up, officer? You have problems? The neighbors' rock music is just as loud. You don't give them shit. And I was looking at him like, please don't start any more problems. I keep having problems already, ever since you got here. So he was like, well, officer, stay right there. Don't go. I want to change the volume and make sure that you think this is okay. So he runs over to the stereo and he puts NWA, Fuck the Police. And he turns the volume up just loud enough, but not too loud for the officer to stand at the door and listen. He was like, listen, officer, let me know if this is too loud.
Okay. Where else can a nigga go right up to the camera and just be like, fuck all y'all?
Yeah. Okay.
In a relationship with the police that was strained, Tupac often found himself at odds with law enforcement. In Oakland, he was beaten by police officers who did not believe him when he stated that his name was Tupac Shakur. And in Atlanta, he shot 2 off-duty police officers in self-defense when he stopped to intervene in the harassment of a black motorist. During the trial, it was discovered that the arresting officers had been drinking and had initiated the incident. When the prosecution's own witness testified that the gun used to threaten Tupac had been seized in a drug bust and stolen from the evidence locker, criminal charges were dropped.
The left upper side of the face and the upper head, and this whole side, he dead.
As an artist of just 21, Tupac began to create an incredible amount of material, more than some create in a lifetime. Things were changing rapidly around him, and he wanted to capture it all.
Something happened to him, he wanted to write about it right there on the spot. And then he'd write it. Man, how does it sound? And usually when you're saying your raps, you're kind of like saying your rhymes and saying it and kind of figure it out. Right after he wrote it, he would say it just as loud and passionate as if he was in the booth. And be sweating and spitting. And I'd be like, that's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Pac was like, I gotta get this shit off my chest, whether it comes out or not. That's why he has stacks of poetry. That was his vent. That was his air. That was his oxygen. No changes, revisions. He would just scrap it and do a new song. He just poured it out. It's more like a jazz improvisationalist. He came in there and said it, how he felt it. And he's gasping for air. He's got a joint in his hand. He's been smoking weed and cigarettes and Newports all night. So he's missing words here and there. So the way he would do it, it was like a dotted line principle. When he would gasp for air and miss a line, on this track, maybe it caught that word. And on this track, so he would triple his vocals to make sure every word was said.
I get there about an hour or 2 early or whatever, and I'll just, have the track ready. He walks in, here's the beat. Give me a pen and pad. Give me a pencil. Come on, give me a pencil. That's how he was. I know exactly what I want to do. That's how Pac was. Like, I know what I want to put on tape. Let's go for it. In one day, we would do about 4 to 5 cuts a day, depending on the flow, If Hennessy is, involved, though, it's a beautiful thing.
Every other record that came out that Tupac did, I did high and drunk in the studio while they was making the beat, like laying the beat down, And that's why I be sounding hella sloppy, you know what I'm saying? With that song, it'd be like, fuck it. I feel as though, niggas drunk and high when they listening to it.
This is Me Against the World right here, which sold over 2 million copies. A song that was on there, man, was Death Around the Corner. He predicted his own death, man. This is All Eyes on Me, which is like definitely a huge, huge classic album. You know what I mean? That's a big one. This is the cut How Do You Want It that I did, you know what I'm saying? Which is a big one, a huge, huge record. Thug Life, this is where we all started though. Me, Tupac, Psych, Mopreme, everybody, Rated R, everybody, man. We were doing our thing. This is like when I first met him. Thug Life. I was the music man, Pac was the lyric man. We were LA and Babyface all the way.
Constantly writing, constantly working. From the studio straight to the set, out of town straight to the commercial he had to film, straight back into the studio, straight to those cats' studio he promised he'd go by. Doesn't really want to go over there, but he knows how much it'll mean to them. Tupac Shakur was the hardest working man in hip-hop, hands down. His work proves that. Since he's died, more work's come out than before he was alive.
Everybody be ready to go to sleep. Pac can still be working, you know. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Smoking a blunt, you know, it's just action. Let's go, we in. It's like we in the door now. Keep mashing, and success is not a faithful girlfriend.
Biggie Smalls, when they were friends before they became mortal enemies, said he went over to Tupac's house one day, and he said he went to visit him. Tupac went to the bathroom and came back. He said the man had written 2 raps.
All of the Biggie versus Pac heads. First of all, Biggie's gonna win hands down when you're talking flow. Strictly from a rhythm standpoint, Biggie is a swinger. He swings like a horn player over jazz. B-I-G-P-O, P-P-A, no info for the D-E-A. He put more emphasis on the He's just spelling his name. When people say Pac is the best rapper of all time, they don't just mean he's the best rapper. They just mean what he had to say was most potent, most relevant, and that he was the better human being. Tupac pulled from Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the good speakers. Even though you was a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. It's like pouring those words out because you mean it.
And I be picking up the slack. It's time for apocalypse now to grab the gat, grip the track. Cause it's all about making money, ain't a damn thing funny. What be up, sonny? I be like all in my business. Time to hit that shit. I'm ripping up the track cause I be down with the click and all my niggas in the house.
Pac rhymed from the pit of his stomach. Humpty Hump and Slick Rick rhyme from the nasal palate. Nas rhymes from the back of his throat. Pac rhymed from the pit of his stomach. You know what I mean? He was singing it out. So if you listen to that, there wasn't many rappers doing that.
Pac made sense, man, because of the simple fact the way he wrote lyrics, man. It's the way he wrote it down, man. He made a lot of sense because he was thinking about the fact that, fuck that, dude. Whatever he went through, through the day, he was like, fuck that. I'm gonna talk about this partying shit. I'm gonna talk about this drinking shit or talk about, motherfucking streets, this, that, whatever. Didn't matter. But I love the way Pac put it all together because he could combine all those fucking concepts into one song and still make your ass dance.
I can understand, everybody want to party, kick it, and get high and all of that shit, but I mean, there's real issues going on in the world. What made Tupac different is that he wasn't afraid to say it.
I haven't seen nobody that was just ghetto-fied at the same time, articulate, and just be able to maneuver them words and vocabulary just expand to where you just be like, damn. See, Black Panthers was built on education, and streets are built on wildness. So when you mix them two together, it's gunpowder. So that's what he was. He was an educated nut. You feel me?
I remember I was doing my vocals, Tretch walked in, pulled out a pistol, said it's his turn, he did his rap, he left, I left, Patchy did his shit, everybody laid it, 5 Deadly Venoms, it was all good, it shows niggas can't come together and do their thing.
There was a kind of very powerful surge in him of wanting to express himself. So he would do favors for friends and appear on their albums, appear on their records. And he did this mostly because he realized that not long ago he didn't have a record contract. He was trying to get on, and he was still hungry, and he knew what it meant to be a hungry rapper.
Working on a new project called One Nation. It's going to be an East Coast, West Coast collaboration.
He said he wanted to start this thug life thing, and I was like, yeah, I'm with that. And we was in the studio, we did the first Thug Life song. It was called Thug Life. And everything else was just like a dream.
Idi Amin, Outlaws, Machiavelli trained soldier in the flesh. Shit, 92, I just graduated high school, and we reached out to Pac and was like, what's up, you know what I mean? Pac was like, come to Oakland. That's my first time stepping into Oak Town, you know what I mean? And I was just turned out from then. And we was the young niggas, we was like babies, you know what I mean, running around the country with them.
Watch what's going on so you can see when you come in, you can see if I'm giving you something. If y'all all walking around like this, we could do this shit separate. I could rap you, you rap you, you rap. What's the point? Interaction.
He was our general, we was the soldiers, so we did work together, and it's always been like this, and it's always gonna stay like this.
Shit, we only got 2 weeks to do this whole album. Complete it. Mix it down and everything. We don't have time or the luxury to spend all of this time doing one song. We don't have it. We gotta somehow find a way that we could double up on it. Cause I did my whole album, I know it ain't all of that, but I did my whole album like 3 songs a day. Cause I was just laying it, rocking it, then getting off. You can mix it later and have niggas that love being in the studio all night, just adding a drum beat at a time and shit. You can do that after the rappers leave and shit. Just niggas that love being in the studio, that just love listening for the right kick. But for while we in here and you got like 8 rappers here and everybody drinking and smoking and shit, man, get that beat popping, throw them niggas on the track. You catch everybody freestyling, throw them niggas on the track. Boom, that's the name of the song is whatever this nigga said his last word was. We do it, put it down. Then after we finish, we walk out, everybody be here and listen to it. Be like, this the hook, we go in there and lay the hook. If we don't like that hook, the nigga lay another hook, come back out here, you know, lay scratches or whatever. That'd be the song.
Along with the music came other avenues of expression. Tupac had always been an actor, and now Hollywood was opening up its doors. He and Tretch were asked to audition for the role of Bishop in Juice.
And like I went up in there, I'm reading lines like, yo, you know, I'm explaining, like reading it basically. I know it a little bit, but I'm, you know what I mean, not know. He went up in there, yo, fuck that, I'm telling you, you gotta learn to say, you gotta put it down the streets, you go, yo, I heard, I'm like, yo, you better get this motherfucking role. I don't even want it no more.
His first role in Juice was an extraordinary portrayal, but people always thought that's who he was. And it wasn't who he was.
Hell yeah, when the riots was on, nigga, on the 29th, your boy Pac was filming a movie, a multi-million-dollar movie with Janet Jackson. But that motherfucking night, I was out there shooting up motherfucking Chinese takeouts. I swear I was. Come through. Hey, but bust it. That was a movie I was doing. That was all the movie that y'all gonna see coming out called April 29th. All right.
Pac was, man, enjoying what every man wants to enjoy. Every man, every woman. And that's called success. You know, when you get it, you got to enjoy it to the fullest. You're not promised tomorrow. So let me drive this nice fancy car. Let me sport this nice jewelry. And let me do this. Let me, have about, a couple of G's in my pocket. Pac did what he could for people to say, hey, come on, man. Come with me, man. I'm going to go do this rap thing. I'm going to go do this music thing. You want to roll with me? Roll with me. You want to fall off? Fall off. They either ended up in jail or ended up dead, one or the other. But he did what he could for his homies, though.
He felt guilty about his success, which made him work even harder. And the guilt he felt was because he was reared in a household that taught him, you are to be for the community, and even the material goods you have should be sacrificed for the larger political goals of black people in America, many of whom don't have what you have.
This is a big question, and no one's been able to answer it, and this is staggering. How can Reagan live in the White House, which has a lot of rooms, and there'd be homelessness? And he's talking about helping homelessness. This is what I mean about practicality. All right, if there's someone homeless in Washington, D.C., if there's homelessness, and he has the White House, which has 1,000 rooms, why can't he take some of them people off the street and put them in his White House? Because he doesn't want to get dirty. The White House would be a little tainted.
His various houses and places of residences from his first apartment were missions and flop houses for anybody that needed it or somebody he saw any glimmer of hope in, Yeah.
With Tupac's new fame and fortune came other obstacles. How could he grow as a performer as the public watched his every move? The once poverty-stricken youth was now generating enormous amounts of money. Some of his friends noticed a change.
From not having nothing to having the power and the allure of fame to a young, broke nigga from the ghetto, you couldn't imagine. And one change for sure is that the stress increased, The need to make a hit increased.
Pac changed as far as his attitude. He had gotten to the point to where he felt like he didn't really have to respect anybody, and that's where we got to clashing at, you know.
There was the flirtation with some of the materialistic trappings that the rap game has to offer. That is something, when you're in this business, if you're not around other people that are outside of that, you can be immersed in it and not even realize you're immersed in it.
I don't know if I could handle that shit. A man don't know what he can handle till we put in that position. You know what I mean? Pac was younger. He was going through a lot of different shit. Motherfuckers trying to kill him, you know what I mean? Setting him up. Lawsuits, shit that's real crazy. This business is not for the weak and the timid.
You know, one hand niggas be tripping off niggas that ain't got shit. Then when a nigga get shit, they trip because you got shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That shit is illegal. Illegal.
Pac was rapping, acting, niggas loved him, and he was a sex symbol. We had the women. So, because of that, you know, the haters came in flocks, droves, you know, in different forms, different variations, but, you know, yeah, niggas was hated on. That's how it is when you at the top.
You hear it in the lyrics. You hear it in all the songs. Envy is a big key to him, and it's like, man, you know, envious people, jealous people couldn't stand the fact that he was doing his thing, you know what I mean?
He was staying in the city. And so we went, hung out or whatever, got to find a couple of chicks and everything, went back to the hotel. So we got a double room. I had my room, he had his room, whatever. So we was up in everything. I mean, I had a little video cam and everything. So me and my little chickie, we taping shit and everything and, you know, getting all wild and everything. So Pac out the room and the door like cracked. So I'm like, shh, telling my little thing, shh. So I go up in there and start taping it from the door. So I'm taping them up in there. So he just banging it out on the bed, banging it out. So I'm taping, then I hit the door. I'm trying to get close. I go, boom. And they both get up. He like, man, what the fuck is you doing, man? I know you ain't out here taping this shit. What the fuck? Yo, you got it. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Man, what the fuck is you doing, man? Don't be coming to this motherfucking taping no shit, man. Man, turn this shit. Give me this motherfucking tape. You got it. All right. You go back up. Can't believe this motherfucker come up in here tripping.
I had to teach my motherfucking self how to be a man. You understand me? And I'm still learning. But there can't a motherfucker out there tell me shit. Because I was on welfare, started with nothing. Now I got a little bit of something. I'm on the bright screen. I'm on videos. God damn it. That's why I act like this.
He was the happiest when he was with his niggas. You know, like we all are. We happier when we with our niggas because, you know, we can be ourselves and, you know, we just love niggas.
He was at the top of the game. And I was like, damn, Pac, finally somebody from our crew or somebody I know made it to where we always say we wanted to make it too. But he was not content. He wasn't satisfied, or that's where he wanted to stop at.
This might be no role model type shit, none of that, but goddamn, ask yourself, ask your mama, ask your daddy, ask your auntie, ask your uncle. You smoked weed before, didn't you? You smoked crack before too, didn't you? I'm a role model though. Well, Pac never did nothing but smoke weed. That's it. He never fucked with that old bullshit. So give me my motherfucking propers and don't sweat me when I'm blunted like a motherfucker.
He couldn't function sober. He didn't like to anyway. You know, had to be some weed there, had to be some Hennessy, had to be some drink, had to be something going on. If he wasn't high, he had to be doing something that was a lot of fun. He wasn't so happy. A lot of his laughter was forced. You know, you can hear it, death row. You know, listen to him laugh. He's not laughing. He's putting it on. It's forced laughter. All of those records, all he's talking about is the pain.
Mainstream America was not ready to hear the true realities that resonated in Tupac's raps.
Tupac was America's wildest nightmare. Please, outspoken, totally uninhibited, knowledgeable. It's ironic, too, because you can't sell that many records unless you've got a huge white audience, you know. So, in reality, more white people are buying the records than black people.
He not only scared white America, he scared upscale black America because it made them have to remember where they came from. He opened up doors and windows that I'm sure caused a lot of pain and grief for a lot of people.
Tupac was from the days of the Black Panther Party. You know, people are still frightened of the Black Panther Party. Tupac had an African name, Tupac Shakur. People had no idea what that meant. A lot of people didn't even know he was named after a Peruvian revolutionary.
These white kids could dress and act like niggas, because all they got to do is go get 10 tapes. And after they study them 10 tapes, they got the fucking Hood 101.
I think a lot of young kids, a lot of young white kids would be like right with Pac, you know, because I think his personality was such that he was going to make them see what the real truth was.
As long as they got bullets and 2-inch tape, there will be justice out this motherfucker.
To me, he's an activist. He was an activist, an activist, an activist. He wasn't just no rapper, he was an activist.
We always needed a cause to fight. You know what I mean? So whether him coming up and wanting to fight the powers that be and make things better for black people.
This ain't no democracy. Pac knew that the elite was paying the government, the elite on the government, on the president, everybody else. Pac was talking about that shit, and they didn't want to hear that shit. They didn't want no young black brother telling these black people in the ghetto that your strings is being pulled by a committee of 300.
White people got you believing just because I'm telling a nigga to stop getting his head kicked in by the police, to take the gun he would use to shoot his brother in a second and kill the motherfucking cop that's killing you, your family, and everybody else on the block. You know what I'm saying? Kill that motherfucker. That is not insane. That is sane and straight like a motherfucker. That's positive, like a motherfucker.
There was a state trooper who had been killed in Texas, and the young black man who killed the state trooper claimed he was listening to a Tupac song at the time that this happened. And they mentioned his name at the Republican convention, and it totally freaked him out. He couldn't believe that somebody who was going to run for president of the United States was talking about him and his lyrics with all the problems this country had.
So, I mean, goddamn, the vice president talked about me. A young nigga from the hood, he know me, he want my shit up off the shelf. You know why? Because my shit is different than the next man. My shit be telling niggas to off these old punk motherfuckers. My shit talk about swinging back. They know the difference between mine and the next man. So that's why they came after me.
All they try to do is censor the young. The young ain't gonna hear that. 18-year-olds that's going into the workforce ain't got a workforce right now. So what they gonna do? They gonna out rob and steal and steal a hamburger and a cheeseburger, because there ain't even no jobs at McDonald's no more now. So to see Dollaz Tuckers and them ought to realize that young people ain't got nothing to do except be restless behind they bullshit. You can't censor the young. You never could.
It degrades women. It glorifies violence. It's creating drugs, the culture of drugs, the culture of guns and rape.
See Dollaz Tucker. Oh, see Dollaz Tucker. You's a motherfucker. Trying to instead of trying to help a nigga, you destroy a brother. That's what you did. Shit, if you'd shut your damn mouth, the man would have still been living. You called the dogs, see Dollaz Tucker. You can't sue me for nothing because I ain't got nothing. You called the dogs on Tupac Shakur.
See Dollaz Tucker. I know what she was trying to do. She was trying to say that, you know, when you rap like that or when you talk about that in your songs, it perpetuates more of the same. I tend to believe a little bit different. Pac was writing, what's it like to be young and black and growing up in America if you got family members on drugs, if you don't see no way out and you didn't graduate from high school?
In many of these ghettos, which are really enclaves of civic terror, we have a generation of young, especially black people, who are now planning their own funerals. They go to the funeral director, they sit down, they plan what song will be sung, who will preach, who will speak. They plan what their corpses will look like and what caskets they will be buried in. That's extraordinary. It's intolerable, or it should be. And yet we tolerate that in America.
And that's why Pac wanted to get into politics, so we could have a voice out there that's not just going to ride with whoever's out there just yes, we, and no, we going to be up there, we going to give you the other side of the story that you're not hearing.
You can't survive out here by yourself. The police ain't nothing but a gang. The National Guard is a gang. The Army is a gang. We learn all our gang shit from the government. You know what I'm saying? We learn all this gun shit from the government. You know, somebody get a gun, the gov get a bigger gun. You know what I'm saying? How they going to show us that thing we can't pick up? So I'm picking up. Feel me?
Tupac was an extraordinarily compassionate man. One of the interesting tensions between him, not simply the real thug nigga versus the politicized figure, it was also the world-beating superstar versus the kind of guy who was compassionate about everyday people.
We were in Washington. We were on an East Coast run from Atlanta to New York on his first record doing a promotional tour. We were in the car coming from a grammar school when we saw on the television a young girl had been mauled by a pit bull and had been rushed to the hospital. We were on our way to the airport on our way to New York. He made us turn the car around. We went to the hospital. He did not know these people. We met her parents in the waiting room, her mother, and he told them he just came to lend his support. But there was no press around that. No one said anything about it. No one paid any attention. But yeah, and I believe they still, until his death, he still had a relationship with that young girl and her family. There were charitable things that he was interested in, primarily education for kids, helping minority children, building self-confidence. He had a real affinity, especially to children who had parents who were drug addicted or who had parents that were incarcerated. He wanted to be able to set up something that was going to help those children, but he wanted to do it quietly. He didn't want to look like he was trying to sell records.
Pac was a magnet for the lost souls in the world, and you know what I mean? Lost souls always came to Pac in different walks of life, different forms and everything, but you know what I mean? He was always into helping the young niggas, the youth, the young niggas, younger than him, you know what I mean? Giving them a chance to do something. Y'all want to rap, get up off the street, come on.
Imagine being a young cat in high school. You know, you got a record out, and it's a cool record, and then you got like the hottest rapper in the world telling you like he gonna do the video for you, and you going to school telling your friends that. I mean, people couldn't believe me, and then just working with him was like, I mean, it was a experience that even now I think about like, man, why was I so blessed? Like all my family came out here to LA. We stayed out here, and he had everything set out for us. And it's a lot of people from that video that's no longer here. So I remember that day, and I remember just all those people that is not here no more being there, and we were just all really happy. I worked with him in the studio, and he was just like straight business. Get in there, do the job, we can kick it later. And as far as when we did the video, it's the same type of thing. He knew what he wanted, and he went after it. All right, do this, do that. Trust me, I got you. Man, and I did it, and it was like, to date, one of my best videos. My name Mac Mall, man. Hey, yeah, hey, you know what house it was? Oh, man. Just chilling. The video over there? Yeah, that's what we talking about. Over here in this area is like where we shot the video, ghetto theme. We had like big trucks all out here. You see, it's like a just regular neighborhood. I got a picture where two cats, Pac and Stretch, hold me, like give me a hug. I'm in the middle and they ain't even here. I know probably some folks from out here. Yeah. Great.
1993, Tupac gave an interview in which he criticized private lives of influential African Americans. Among those attacked was Quincy Jones.
When I first saw the first attack that they made on the family, I said, okay, this is kind of unknown, hundreds of those, thousands of those.
In the source article, he said niggas like Quincy Jones insisting on sticking their dick in white women and making fucked up mixed families, and we need one generation of niggas and all that stuff. His point was that black people have to be one generation of just black people, to strengthen the blood and the unity and whatever. And obviously, I don't believe that. I can't.
My daughter wrote a letter about that. My family was Jewish, because Tupac never laid his eyes on me. I know. Let's make a lot of judgments about a lot of things.
I said in my letter, says, you know, how could you even criticize his personal life when if it weren't for people like him, you wouldn't be here. And wouldn't you be 10 years dead in jail?
That's the same week he wrote back to apologize. Rashid was officers and that, and two white girls from subsistence that he So yeah, I forgot about that.
So he read the letter and then went up to Dada at a party thinking she was Rashida. And how his relationship with Dada started is because he kept following her around, trying to say, I want to respond to the letter that you got it, and I didn't get any harm. And finally she's wondering what the heck is he following around for, and it dawns on her that he's mistaken her for Rashida. And that's how their relationship began.
I was dropping Rashida off at Jerry's, and at that time I heard that he was searching the field on Dada now. Everything for Dada. And so Rashida went in and she sat in the booth, and I was in the booth behind. And I didn't know this was probably a good thing that Tupac wasn't back in that night. I got blown away. I went over the top of the booth and put my hands on his shoulder like, Tupac! It's very green, you know. I said, I got to talk to you for a few. You really kick it over the car, and I took him over on the other side of that area and we talked straight up. You know, I said, I understand what your head is, you know, but don't come to me like that, you know. I'm not, we don't deserve it. I don't think that's what you really mean.
He grew to love Quincy and have a tremendous amount of respect for him, not just as he is in the entertainment business, but who he is as a man and a father.
I've seen guys speaking to women with this much respect. I didn't know that. My mother told me my mother raised me. So I have this much respect for women, and I off because of that. And it gives me a lot of friends. I get a lot of friends, but also I get a lot of friends because I have respect for women, also respect for women. But then like I was like this girl in town. And I'm extra nice, extra gentleman. I'm extra nice, like, oh, you just deserve that best. And she told me I was too nice. I couldn't believe it. We wouldn't work because I was too nice. That was the ultimate stab in the back. I wouldn't mean to just go and forget it like them. Because they say to get the girls, and they call girls the word. Bitches ain't shit. Don't know. It's like that. I really don't know. Everybody make you know. Females know bitches. Females don't hang with females. You know what I'm saying? So why would they expect a nigga to understand something they don't understand? You know what I'm saying? That's one. Two is that bitches just like she out there handling her bitch. She ain't like, why you call me a bitch? She don't come out there. And that's what you do. That's how you show them. Don't go fuck with her. If you call yourself a bitch, you can call you a bitch.
He treated me with respect. He had no choice. I demand that from him and any other man, woman, whoever, you know. That's me. No, I mean, you know, what he referred to women as is what the women that, a lot of them that he dealt with, you know. If that's how they were, that's what he addressed them as. You know, my music, I do the same thing, you know. Sometimes I consider myself as a bitch because I can be a real bitch at times, you know. But I'm always a woman. They stay late.
Dick your head up. Brenda's got a baby. So he had, you know, the side of Karen. But at the same time, they're bitches and hoes out here. So what makes people think that you can only be one way? You know, he's riding straight down the middle. So hoes, I talk about hoes sometime, and women that deserve to be put up to be a queen, we'll talk about you sometime. So it was all right. He did what the hell he felt that he needed to do, and that was just keep on the common denominator.
Niggas need to stop giving these bitches all the attention. That's why niggas dying now. When niggas get horny, niggas die. Niggas get horny, niggas die. Every time, every film you go to, it's a bitch that was horny night before. So you need to start taking these bitches, niggas need to go back to the OG penitentiary days and start jacking off. Because if we don't, we end up killing each other, we gonna all die. We gotta start saying, fuck these bitches, man. If you fucking with a cool female, that's all good. But if you fucking with a bitch, you need to break her ass and shake her ass.
Tupac, now at the top of his game, was about to go head-on with the legal system his mother fought 20 years earlier. Charges were brought against him and his entourage, accusing him of sodomy and rape.
Truly absurd to think that anybody in the hip-hop game with mild celebrity status has to rape anybody.
This woman supposedly sucked him off in a club, a couple nights in a club, one in the hotel. Late night, what you there for? Come on, man. I know my dog. We been flipping chicks back then, and then the 90s on the road, and man, we ain't never had to take my ass. Never. I mean, we from the door, we going to have that type party. It's from the door, let him know. That's how we let him know.
Her lack of credibility began to unfold during the course of her testimony in this case. Point A of the dance floor, where she essentially committed sodomy. During the time that she had discussions with the young men she didn't know, and Mr. Tupac outside the club, go to the hotel the same night, engaging in sex, engaging in oral sex, coming back several nights later to the same hotel suite, engaging in discussions with the same young man.
Well, yeah, that was a straight up lie. You know, I toured with him. Ladies put out the room and then brought them to me. You know, hey, I got to get out my room. You know, they didn't want to see me. They wanted me to force them. Care. Bye.
Pop called me after that happened. Pop wasn't afraid to cry. That crushed him. You know, sometimes there's always the company you keep. People always say the company you keep, and that will be your downfall. Pop's company was his downfall.
Why am I the only one in right now? Why is there all of these? In the room, all these charges. I didn't do nothing. I'm charged with a conflict with God. Where they at? Why me? I'm Tupac. I'm not them. I don't want nobody to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to jail with somebody. It was crazy that he was in jail behind it. Come on now. Come on now.
Out of jail on a $50,000 bail bond, Tupac was brought in an elevator in New York's recording studio to a late-night session. He was shot 5 times by the robbers.
Everybody knows the story. I felt like we was set up. And we discussed that. He had his own views because he was there. Most of us were on the West Coast out here working on the thug life out in small crews.
Only 9 hours after surgery to remove bullet fragments, Tupac checked himself out of Bellevue Hospital against his doctor's orders in a wheelchair. He returned to the courtroom where he hears the verdict. Not guilty of sodomy and rape, but guilty of sexual assault.
Judge said that ever since you become a star, that you have had one problem, another problem. And because of this, I'm going to give you this sentence. He was found guilty for what in New York is touching somebody.
I got to shut me in the I'm not going with it.
I stood up. That's the first thing you heard him say in like 2 weeks of court. You know, Your Honor, and throughout this entire court case, you haven't looked me or my attorney in the eye once. It's obvious that you're not here to serve justice. So therefore, there's no point in me asking for a life sentence. I don't care what you do because you're not respecting us. This is not a court of law as far as I'm concerned. No justice is being served here. And you still can't look me in the eye. So I say do what you want to do, get me whatever time you want, because I'm not in your hands, I'm in God's hands. You cut the tension in the courtroom with a knife. It moved the whole side of the prosecution. I didn't say it like I said it. The way I said it, everybody's eyes in the courtroom opened up. Nobody could speak for a minute. Brave motherfucker, yo.
He did not apologize to her for doing anything to her. He apologized for the situation, having gotten that far. It was not, I'm sorry I sexually abused you. That was not the case. It was, I'm sorry I let myself get into a situation with you that caused this to happen. I spent a lot of time with him at Rikers Island. That was, and it was funny because I think the time that we would time I spent with him there, he would try to keep up front because there was a rumor of a hit out on his life when he was there, and him trying to be the strong guy, you know, every fool, you don't worry about it. When inside there was some fear. But there was always someone visiting there every visiting day. But Dan Amaru was another thing. The first time I went up there, I mean, it was like stepping back in time. And the prison was like main factory in Indiana. It was built in the 1860s or so early. It was frightening. It's funny. I don't think it broke his spirit. There was a clarity about him because he wasn't getting high. He wasn't smoking. He was writing scripts. He was writing lyrics.
It's exciting. It feels like 2 weeks every day. You talk about yelling in your head, but Pac was the type of nigga. He was a man. He was, you know, real niggas always do that.
That's where all the assholes at. So what can you do in there but just, you know, absorb what's going on and survive the fittest. So if you got to survive, you got to come out that motherfucker, man, like a motherfucker. Yeah.
Tupac's attorney questioned why Mr. Jack Agnew, who was arrested with Tupac, whose case was separated from his client, received ovation. Mr. Agnew introduced Tupac to the alleged victim, and Tupac believed that he may have been a government informant.
The facts is that we were able to delve out were that he had been arrested a number of times all around the country. Way to get a national rap sheet on him. Never did a day, serious day in jail. All these cases had the ultimate result being dismissed.
After 8 months in jail, Tupac's case was appealed. He was unable to raise the $1.4 million bail. It was then that he was approached by Death Row Records president Suge Knight, who offered supposedly in return for a recording contract. The agreement was written by hand and signed from a cell.
I just felt that it was a change coming, and I felt he did exactly what he said he was going to do.
They came to me and said, you try to do some shit on my music. The next album, I like that. Yeah, we discussed going on at Death Row. You know, man, had always been in the picture because I feel it was cool. Shit had been trying to get him on Death Row. It's early on, but, you know, I was establishing up and I never go that route. Ended up in the rock and hard place, and, you know, we decided to make that move. He knew who he was signing with. He knew all the controversy. Make a deal with the devil. I gotta do. I gotta do this. Right now, it's going on the trust I got. I worried about him every day because he was my friend. He had a good reputation. You know, I knew various things that you see, that you hear, that you just know. You see what's being associated. You talk to other people that were in the music. What's the fear of the other people?
Well, I'm talking about shit, man. I don't even get into that little conversation. You can skip me with all them questions, man.
Many of Tupac's friends questioned his decision to record with Death Row. Over the years, there had been a lot of controversy surrounding the record label.
You know, a lot of people want to say that he went down the wrong road. But when I just talked to him about it, he talked mainly about the music because that's where his heart was.
Well, Pac bring a voice, you know what I'm saying? We just sit back and just kick it, basically. And when he came, he brought like a voice to Death Row. You know what I'm saying? He speaks what he feels, you know what I'm saying?
His next album, All Eyes on Me, sold over 9 million copies, which is his most successful album to date.
I never spoke to him after that. When he got out of prison, he was only out for 9 months, and people make it seem like he was with Death Row for years, but he was only with Death Row for 9 months of his life.
This next song is dedicated to California and everybody up there. It's all about the West Side, baby. some freestyle flow. I'm too high and I might go off tempo, but now I'm back to let these niggas know just how deep my game run. Tupacalypse don't sleep.
When you think about hip-hop culture, you think about the dozens, and the dozens are what young kids play, a game of verbal contest where they try to outdo each other rhetorically and verbally by usually starting with talking about yo mama.
Well, fuck it, I'm the high guy from Bed-Stuy putting the swelling on your eye. Your nose even, when I choke you, you stop breathing. When police come, I'm leaving. Peace and love.
Battle raps are the extension of the dozens, so to speak. They are the extension of getting on record and dissing the other person.
It's this nigga named Nas, and he kicking with these niggas named Mobb Deep, and they kicking with some niggas named Bad Boy. Said I say fuck them all, so I'm about to take this nigga beat and whoop his ass with his own motherfucking beat.
Rap came up off of diss records. That's what separated rap from R&B and rock and roll, because we got on the record and said, yo shit is whack, fuck you, and all your homeboys, you know what I mean?
Tupac accused Biggie and Puffy of setting him up to be shot. This feud was sensationalized by the media and caused waves of fear throughout the industry.
If you know somebody and it's to the point where it's like, yo, we gonna do some dozens type thing or whatever, or we gonna get on the same record together and do it, and when we in shows, we gonna do it. It was cool. Back in the days, it was more of acceptable, but you gotta realize, after, you know, Pac and Big and everything, it could get serious.
It took a ugly, dangerous turn when Tupac, and to a lesser extent, Biggie got involved, because I think here, Tupac was at greater fault than was Biggie. Biggie did make a song called Who Shot You after Tupac got shot that was taken as a direct affront to Tupac, but Tupac released perhaps the most bitter, vindictive, vengeful battle rap and diss song of all time, which was called Hit 'Em Up, where he begins to literally talk about having sex with Biggie's wife. So it was ingenious, and it was evil, and it was vicious, and it was powerful and compelling at the same time.
We want to make sure we mash their ass like we did. You see that nigga quiet as a fucking church mouse. Drop, hit him up, that nigga quiet as fuck. He ain't got shit to say. His wife pregnant, that nigga waiting like an expectant father not knowing who the baby is. If y'all don't know, I use the weapon, so it ain't mine. I'll tell you straight, I ain't want to fuck that fat bitch nowhere.
Before there was even hip-hop, at the juke joints down south, people getting stabbed, hit over here with the bottle, same shit. No matter what type of entertainment you in, you know, that's what happens. It's not just us.
Pac's war wasn't against the East Coast, because there's a lot of cats on the East Coast that he got love for Pac. There was a lot of incidents that happened right prior to him getting out of jail. For example, the Source Awards, 15,000 people was booing us. Anybody from California was getting booed.
The distinction between the real and the represented got blurred. And unfortunately for Tupac, keeping it real, being a real nigga, meant that you literally had to move from wax to the street.
For the record, you know what I mean? Pac and Biggie ain't diving no rap shit, you know what I mean? Strictly street shit for all my niggas who know, you know what I mean? Wasn't no rap shit. Rap ain't killed Pac and Biggie, and when you say that, you kind of like spitting on their grave, you know what I mean?
I remember his 21st birthday. He was doing poetic justice. He wanted a truck. He didn't have a driver's license. And Adrian Gregory went through so many changes to get him this truck and drive it up to him on the set. And how surprised he was that he made it to 21. And so often we talked about it, and I would tell him, you have got to stop this death thing, because it was like a twin.
His body of work shows he could see something, you know?
I know he knew. When I see that last picture of him taken in the car, and he's looking out the window, and there's absolutely no expression on his face, I knew. I just hope he wasn't afraid.
I don't know, like he saw it coming. I mean, out of the songs that we, you know, out of a lot of songs that we did, you know, for him to talk about death, 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 death. I mean, he would talk about it all the time.
He always thought he was gonna die prematurely. He gave Layla, you know, a lot of the poetry books. He said, you know, when I'm dead and when I'm gone, you know what I'm saying, hold these and then let everybody know this side of me as well as whatever I've already exposed. And that's prophetic type shit, man. God let him know that he only had so much time to make an impact.
He was a pre-thinker. You wonder, how could he make a song, God Bless the Dead, praising Biggie after Biggie died and Pac died first? Because Pac was a thinker like that. He was always plotting. If I die this way, put this out. If I die this way, I want you to put this out. He was thinking and he wanted to cover all those bases. That's game, ain't it? Woo. He was playing to win. He had a plan E, much less a plan B.
After attending a Tyson fight in Las Vegas, Tupac, who was sitting in the passenger seat of a black BMW, was shot multiple times. Miraculously, the driver of the car, Suge Knight, escaped serious injury.
Kidada could have been sitting there right next to him, you know. He called her and told her that he would see her later on, because after the fight, they had a fight with the Crip, you know, and he didn't want to jeopardize her. So he must have felt something, too.
I cried right then when I heard. You know, anybody who loved him is still affecting him right now, guaranteed.
He was obviously with people that didn't love him. He was supposed to have been protected.
Whenever you have anybody that goes down without a struggle, without defensive actions, responsive actions taken, I always question why.
My first thought was like, but when he come out of this one, he really gonna think he's invincible.
Tupac was admitted to University Medical Center where he underwent surgery, including the removal of his right lung.
I walked in the room to visit him, and he was trying to tell me something that'd always be one of the mysteries in my life. I don't know what he was trying to tell me, but he was trying to tell me something. And he was shaking the whole bed. He was a warrior, you know, to the end.
On September 13, 1996, after 6 days in critical condition, Tupac Amaru Shakur was pronounced dead. He was only 25. Quincy Jones said if Malcolm X died at 25, he would have been a street hustler named Detroit Red. If Martin Luther King died at 25, he would have been a local Baptist minister who had not yet arrived on the national scene. And if I would have died at 25, I would have been known as a trumpet player and struggling composer, just a sliver of my life potential.
Pac was a prophet. He knew things that none of us seen yet. And Pac ain't never let me roll with him to pull no gun on no black man. Cause he's seen a lot of brothers going, a lot of sisters going, a lot of children going. Pac wasn't no gangster. I rolled with Pac. We came up together. Pac was a soldier.
A private memorial service was held for Tupac on a secluded beach in Malibu. In attendance were close friends and relatives, including his mother, Afeni Shakur. Some of his ashes were scattered into the sea.
We threw all the gifts in the ocean for him, and we threw the chicken wings and the Hennessy and his favorite pictures, jewelry. Everybody brought something. Everybody said a little something. We brought drums and bongos, and people spoke, and we had fires burning. That was his funeral.
You know, could we have done something different? Could we have said more? Could we have stood up to the forces? And all of us shoulder some of the responsibility.
It just appalls me that nobody has been arrested for those two deaths. You know, and it's just it's like a big cloud with a question mark on it. And you know somebody in Las Vegas and Los Angeles, or both, know exactly what happened.
Just at the oddest time, I just miss him. Just miss being able to holler at him like, dude, you know, I'm going through this problem and shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you're happy about having successful records with Tupac, producing him and all that, but at the same time, it's like he's not here to enjoy what you're enjoying, you know, while I'm alive.
And however it went down with them taking him away, he's still not gone. And still is gonna be here for a long time to come. And even if music still wasn't coming from all the albums that's out now, we got enough to hold us over for centuries.
Pac showed me just be yourself and be true to everything you believe in, and it'll come. If it doesn't come on this album, it'll come on the next album.
You know, no matter how bad it may get, just keep going, because you only fail when you give up.
He gave me pride. You know, he gave me love. He gave me inspiration. I don't think he realized how great he was. You know, I don't think he fully realized how much people admired him, you know, and thought of him.
I always wanted to make a book out of my life, like a fairy tale. Raised by the Black Panthers and strung out.
Posse up, we thugging y'all to the 90s. Peace to my nigga Kato.
I like when he says, hey, yo, Shock, let them hoes know. Now you can tell from my everyday fits, I ain't rich, so cease and desist with them tricks. Just another black man caught up in the mix.
When I ride, he ride. When I get some ass, he gets some ass. When I get my drink on and my smoke on, he get his drink and his smoke on. And I hit so much harder in the left hand now, you just don't even know. I'm righty. It's like it done took over. Pac just up in there. Woo-hoo-hoo. Boy.
This picture of Tupac reminds me of him and the kind of look he would have in his eye if he was getting ready to pick up a girl at a club or so had seen somebody that caught his eye.
You got to be strong, and even though you get tired,